Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Today we're going to talk about the metric system. The metric system is much easier than the customary system. The metric system involves multiplying by powers of 10. What are powers of 10, you ask? Powers of 10 are 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, and when you're multiplying by a power of 10, so if you're multiplying by a power of 10, your decimal point moves this direction. When you're dividing by a power of 10, your decimal point moves to the left. Because obviously when you multiply, your number gets bigger, and when you divide, your number gets smaller. So let's look at some examples. While we're doing these examples, I would like you to write them down in case you see problems similar to these again, or when I give an assignment over this type of material, you'll have these notes to refer back to. The first one I want to do is 50 millimeters equals blank centimeters. The same rule applies as far as deciding whether you need to multiply or divide. If you're going from a bigger unit to a smaller unit, you multiply. A smaller unit to a bigger unit, you divide. So, looking at this and using your brain, because I know that you've done millimeters and centimeters in science, which is bigger, a millimeter or a centimeter? Ireland?
Centimeter.
Centimeter is bigger. So we're going from the smaller to the bigger, which means we're going to divide. And how many millimeters are in 1 centimeter? 10. So we're going to do 50 divided by 10. Remember, we're doing powers of 10. 10, 100,000, 10,000, 100,000, 1 million, 10 million, 100 million. I'm not going to keep going because that'd be ridiculous. Hudson, in the number 50, what number is in the ones place?
0.
The 0. And the decimal point always is behind the ones place. Since I'm dividing by 10, that means I need to make my number smaller. That means my decimal point needs to move to the left, and it moves to the left one time because there's 1 0. And if you did the math, you'd find the same thing. 50 divided by 10 doesn't go in there, it goes in here 5 times. And so you would get 5. So if I have my number 50, my decimal point is here, so it needs to move over 1 place. That's moving over 1 place. I don't have to put 5.0, I can just put 5. So 50 millimeters equals 5 centimeters. Now, if you were doing a test of some sort, you would have all of this information on a formula chart. The formula chart would look like these over here. So you'd have all this information on a formula chart. Let's look at another one. 7 meters. Okay, so we have 7 meters equals blank meters. Or 7 meters equals blank centimeters. Trent, what is bigger, a meter or a centimeter? A meter is bigger. So the information we know is a meter. It's bigger than a centimeter, so we're going to multiply. Trent? In this number right here, which number's in the ones place? the 7. My decimal point always goes behind the ones place. And Trent, how many centimeters are in 1 meter? $100. 1 meter equals 100 centimeters. So I'm going to multiply this by 100. Now multiplying by 100 just means I have to move my decimal point to the right 2 places. So if I have, let's do it like this, if I have 7, my decimal point's there, I need to move it 1, 2, 3 places. So it needs to move there. Trent, I can't just leave lines there. What should I put in those places? It actually only needs to move 2, doesn't it? I'm sorry, my bad. What should I put in these 2 places? Zeros. And then my decimal point is at the end. Why can't we just add the zeros like we normally do? Well, let's look. 9 meters equals blank centimeter. Now we have 39 hundredths of a meter equals how many centimeters? Let me ask you a question, crew. 39 hundredths of a meter, is that less than or greater than 1 meter? Less than. Laura, 39 hundredths of a meter, is it less than or greater than a half of a meter? No can't be an answer. Is it less than or greater than half of a meter? Less. Some people telling you answers. You have to learn who to listen to. All right, so since this is less than half of a meter, my answer is going to be less than 50 centimeters. Now some people asked me, we're going to change from meters to centimeters, meters to centimeters. So it means we're going to multiply. And we're going to multiply by the number of centimeters in 1 meter. And we have said that when we multiply, my decimal point moves to the right. And it's going to move to the right 2 places. So if I make 0.39, and I have to move my decimal point to the right 2 places, 1, 2, then 39 hundredths of a meter equals 39 centimeters. Is 39 centimeters less than half of a meter? Yes, because half of a meter would be 50 centimeters. Go ahead. I can talk louder than the pencil sharpener. It's just moving the decimal point. So let's look at Five-tenths of a meter equals blank kilometers. 5/10 of a meter equals blank kilometers. Now, we know meters, we're changing to kilometers. So, which is greater, meters or kilometers? Lakin. Kilometers, good. So we're going from meters to kilometers. Kilometers are bigger. Meters to kilometers, which means we're going to divide. We're going to divide what we know, which is 5/10 of a meter. And we're going to divide that by how many meters are in 1 kilometer? 1,000. We're going to divide that by 1,000. Which means, McKenna, we have to move the decimal point which direction?
Left.
Left. And McKenna, how many times to the left do we have to move it?
3.
3. All right, so let's try that here. We have 0.5. If I move it once, it's there. Twice, it's there. 3 times, it's there. I can't just leave those lines. What do they need to become?
Zeros.
Zeros. So it would be 5/10,000ths of a kilometer. So just a really small distance. 5/10,000ths of a kilometer. 5/10,000ths of a kilometer. If we're doing this, multiplying and dividing by hundreds, it's just moving the decimal point. We're not, like I saw some people, and it was 3 6/10 times 100. They made it 3.006, and that's not how we do it. The numbers are going to stay next to each other. It's just a matter of where the decimal goes. Just a matter of where the decimal goes. So if you're in power in this country, please change it to the metric system, because my students can all move a decimal point. Now, they may try and answer questions that aren't yes or no with a yes or no answer, but they can all move the decimal point. It is way easier.
So, change it to the
Boom, shakalaka, peace out, God bless, love you, do something kind today, save the beast, because I said so.